Okay, sorry about that. Again, it is a little past 8:30, August 18th, and let's get right into it. We are going to be going live from Philadelphia. There are two encampments protesting the lack of availability for housing for the homeless in Philadelphia. One is located on Ridge Avenue at the site of a empty lot that will eventually become a parking lot for the Philadelphia Housing Authority. The other is located on an unused field on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, and the homeless population of Philadelphia got together organically to establish basically housing complexes for themselves. These encampments are served with food, they have some electricity, they have water, health services. The folks who live in the encampments have been seeking out the services of people who can help assist them in getting housing, and have been working to get themselves housing the entire time they've been there. But as you can imagine, it's rather difficult to get housing if you are homeless. So one thing that I'd like to do is just show some coverage of what's been going on this morning on one of the sites. This is the site that is the PHA lot, and this coverage is from Nadera Hood, a local resident, and I hope to be able to also get Nadera online with us, and we can talk about what's actually going on. Just give me a moment while I pull in the audio from that. Sorry, technical difficulties as I juggle multiple computer systems here. Got it. Nope, don't got it. Alright, let me pull that in directly on this computer, and we'll listen to the audio. That way we can listen to the audio here as well. Nadera has been covering what's happening at the encampment near her house for several days now. Right now, there's some fence building going on. Folks are folks are building fences to control the otherwise empty fields, basically. Let me see here. Screen capture for you.
Matter of fact, look like they're trying to block off the whole joint. Yeah.
Hey.
I want to ask you something. All this your property?
He doesn't answer questions. He's not authorized to speak on behalf of the Philadelphia Housing Authority.
I want to ask something. This your property? Block off? How old is it? So they told y'all to block it off. So you don't mind if I take pictures of your workers? Okay, thank you.
Do you know the cost of the project? Because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of units that are in very bad condition, a lot of vacant boarded up units, and this seems to be a waste of taxpayer money. I mean, although the encampment probably isn't the best resolution, but
So what happens when they throwing you out?
they ain't throwing nobody out because this is our neighborhood. We're going to throw them
I
out.
thought you live over there. You're not in Charlotte.
I live at 19 The Diamond. Everything that happens here affects me. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. You guys can't build a line at Cecil B. Moore and say that we don't have a say-so. Y'all hear this? If you live past Cecil B. Moore, you don't have a say-so about what happens in your community where you live and pay taxes. I pay taxes to live in this community. What you're doing here affects me the same as it affects anybody else. And I don't have to live in Sharswood to have an issue with PHA. They're citywide. They chose to put their government headquarters in this neighborhood, so this is where the protests will come. But I don't understand cutting it off at Cecil B. Moore. So if I live right there, I don't count.
You said it was your neighborhood.
It is. I walk home. I walk here. I walk here every day. I live here. The parking there affects my block. I mean, I live here.
The what does?
Parking. The parking, the taxes go up because of building stuff like that. That affects me. It all affects me.
Yeah.
I walk here. You can't.
It affects all of us.
You can't make an invisible line to separate people. So that's really tyrannical. They seized all the properties, kicked all the people out the neighborhood, and then they made a line so that nobody outside of that line can speak. Yeah, between Girard and Cecil B. Moore. So you're telling me if I live a block outside of there, I don't have a say-so? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to spend money. It doesn't make sense to keep spending money on this when you could just spend money to deal with the actual issue. Because human beings aren't going to disappear. It's just it's wasteful. Your tax dollars at work. Your housing authority. $400 million annual operating budget. 43,000 people on the list. Applications closed since 2013. They have a $400 million annual operating budget. This is what they see fit to spend our tax dollars on. They have no solutions for the people on their waiting list. They have no solutions for anybody, but they have plenty of money to pay people $80 an hour to put up gates and turn neighborhoods into a prison. So, I mean, I'm really just trying to figure out how this is the priority anyway, because this weekend alone, this weekend that passed, there were 2 mass shootings in PHA complexes. So 5 people were shot in PHA's Richard Allen homes, and 3 people were shot in PHA's Wilson Park. This weekend alone, 2 mass shootings in PHA. This is the priority. So there's a special rate that these people are getting paid. If it's like last year when I put the right to know request in, they get paid extra to turn our neighborhood into a prison and then act like they don't know why people are killing each other. Why the fuck do we need gates all around our neighborhood? Why? Why can't they use the federal tax dollars allotted to them to provide housing for vulnerable Philadelphians to do their fucking job? Why, if there's 43,000 people on their waiting list, mothers, children, why is this their priority? Why if more than half the shootings in North Philly this year have been in PHA complexes while PHA owns its own police force, why is this the priority? 2 mass shootings at PHA this weekend. Somebody shot last night at 11th and Norris, PHA, and this is the priority. This is what they prioritize. This is what they care about. This is what they have press conferences about. Look at this. That's the maintenance man that calls my husband a criminal because he used to be a criminal with my husband. But now because they gave him a job and he can run around and sexually harass women in their homes to get their repairs done, now he has so much to say about the people that he grew up with. It's easy to sell out when they let you be comfortable, but you don't have to sell out to be comfortable because I live really fucking comfortable myself, and I don't have to sell nobody the fuck out. Just remember that. Look at him, the boss man. Hello, boss. Where's breakfast? Camden's been doing this hard labor without any food. They don't get that large without eating. You should just go back to stealing jewelry, Purple Man. My fight is with you because you disrespected me and my husband last time. Like you're not the same kind of criminal that he is. You shouldn't have got into it. You came at me last time. My fight is with anybody who's supporting this. Y'all union, y'all don't have to do anything that you fundamentally disagree with. So you agree with what's happening. You agree with everything that you're doing. They lucky I got kids now and I ain't trying to be in nobody's jail. Trust me when I tell you.
Because you're going to get me excited and then I'm,
No, but it's ridiculous. This is what they spend their money on. This is federal tax dollars. Federal tax dollars. As much money as they spend to gate us off and send police after us, they could deal with the fucking issue. 43,000 people waiting for housing. 9 people shot in PHA since Saturday. This is the fucking priority. This is the priority. PHA needs to be defunded, decertified, and abolished. PHA is not necessary. PHA was created through the state as a conduit for federal housing tax dollars that will exist with or without PHA. These tax dollars are allotted based on the results of the census. We don't need PHA. We need to have PHA abolished. Any agency can handle the federal tax dollars. There does not need to be a housing authority. So that's it. I'm done. I ain't stopping until the housing authority is abolished. Abolished. That's it. Who the hell are you? Who's this motherfucker with the Texas tag? Where the fuck is the breakfast, man? Shit. These motherfuckers be working hard as shit. Y'all better put some concrete on the fences because they coming down. They coming down. It's not safe. You forcing tenants to live on this block that you abandoned. They might need to run. No, this is around the corner from the encampment. They're gating everything nearby up before they kick that encampment out. You gotta see everybody's face. They be doing this for.
So I'm cutting to Chris, who is live at the Parkway encampment. We can see your footage now, Chris. And we're broadcasting that on the live stream. I don't know if you're able to hear me, Chris, but feel free to unmute yourself so that we can hear a little bit of what's going on as well. And yeah, so this is the encampment on the Parkway. And we've got some activity around what is ostensibly the public-facing side of the encampment. To my understanding, from some other reports that I've seen elsewhere, there is similar work going on with folks putting up fences on sides of the encampment that can't be seen as easily.
Yeah, there's some people setting up like the bike rack barricade that you see kind of just strewn out the parkway here and there. I don't know if you can see this gentleman here very well. Like I said, I'm trying not to get too close because I don't want to identify anybody, but they appear to have taken like those orange traffic barrels and cut those up into impromptu riot shield type tools. You see there's a big kitchen set up over here. But yeah, there's a lot of people, definitely seems like a lot of people out here to support who aren't, they aren't residents of the encampment. They're out here to just support and hopefully resist this eviction whenever the police do show up. What is it, 5 up now? The eviction notice said by 9 a.m. I hear a helicopter overhead. I don't know whether that's news or law enforcement. I can't get a visual on it. Actually, I hear multiple helicopters, so at least one of those has got to be news.
Copy that. So we're gonna stick with you, Chris, for a while, starting in about 4 minutes, just because I have to do a different meeting, which is kind of ironic. Yeah. So, but yeah, please keep broadcasting. I'll let you know when I'm free. And back, but yeah, the encampment, as you can see, is peaceful. It's relatively socially distanced. Folks,
most people are wearing masks as well. I think
most people wear masks in the encampment. I've actually delivered some items to the encampment, items that have been requested. I don't encourage anybody to just randomly drop off things at the encampment that causes more issues than it helps. But the encampments are being managed by the residents of the encampment, and they're making requests of organizers and folks who help people who are volunteering their time, people who are everything from medics to cooks, folks who have reasons to act in solidarity with the encampment. People are not as limited as often our elected officials would have you believe. There's an acknowledgement
hang on 1 second.
Of the need for... There's an acknowledgement of a need for... Sorry, let me take that PDC-1 logo off at the bottom.
Far away, but if they don't want to be filmed, I won't put the camera in the direction. Thank you.
So, yeah,
okay,
that was an...
James, I just
go ahead.
informed that the residents don't consent to being filmed, so I'm going to keep my camera directed away from them and just stay on, and when the police get here, document that, but I was just told they do not want residents filmed, which is a completely reasonable request. So.
Yep. Yeah, we've acknowledged that request in the past, and yeah. So, Chris, just for your coverage purposes, feel free to, yeah, work. Feel free to work in this angle where you're covering yourself. You know, unless filming the, you could do an interview from where you are. You can talk about what you see.
Yeah, I'll probably mostly narrate what I'm seeing, and try not to, like I said, try not to film anybody from the encampment. What I was going to point out, and was actually going to try and get on camera for you guys, is up on the, I guess like the northwest corner, right on the edge of the parkway. They've actually managed to create a full like barricade around that corner with bike rack that they've, I'm sure, sourced from various places on the parkway. It seems like that's like something they're trying to fortify with whatever they can right now. There's a perimeter right now. A lot of people in black shirts, that type of thing.
Yeah, would you walk over and film that? I have to hop off right now and I will be back, but you are the broadcast right at the moment.
Okay, copy. Yeah, so right now, it definitely seems like the energy is rising a little bit. There's helicopters circling around. There's definitely a sense of anticipation. It is. Here's that's a fire truck. So this over here is the corner where all the news teams are set up. I'm going to rotate around the other side and see if there's anything else interesting going on at the moment. Uh, I kind of wish I could film what I just saw there. There's a small group of people currently practicing like a phalanx with those riot shield type improvised riot shields that they made out of the traffic barrels. I'm sorry the video for this sucks for anybody watching right now, but like I said, the encampment doesn't want to be filmed. Also seems like a lot of cars are parked here, and I assume that some of them are probably people who are using their car as kind of like a barricade, because there's not really a whole lot going on here that you would need to park a car for. I'm filming myself. Filming, camera's on me. It's not on you. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so currently there's not a lot to show because I've been told multiple times now nobody wants to be recorded. I'm trying to respect that. Yeah, I think right now it's just a waiting game until the police arrive on the scene. There's currently a helicopter hovering on the north side of the park. Doesn't appear to have any identifying marks. So that seems like it's probably law enforcement, not news. What's it, 5 after 9 now? Still no sign of the police. So I just flashed that real quick from far away, so I can't really identify anybody, but that's like the phalanx, I guess I was talking about earlier. It's weird. There's somebody with an actual camera directly in the front right there recording them, and nobody's telling them not to record. I don't know what it is about me and my phone, but there's also the entire news crew over here. I've seen this. Sorry, this is just funny. I've seen this truck around Philly a few times. The Yo Toyota. Yeah, right now things are pretty peaceful, but there's a little bit of tension in the air. You can kind of sense it. There's kind of a perimeter set up around right now. I see a couple medics on site. There's another division of impromptu, I guess we'll call them anti-riot police here, with their improvised riot shields.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just kind of walking around describing things because I've been told twice now, no recording, even though I wasn't recording at all the people that told me to record the next time. But so yeah, I'm just kind of walking the perimeter right now, seeing if there's anything interesting to verbally report at the moment. Still no sign of the police at the moment. Big representation from the news media is here though, which is good. I'm glad this is going to get a little bit more mainstream coverage as well.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate combination of priorities. I don't know how to communicate to people that, and I have tried to communicate through some of the organizing folks that, you know, it is important that we make we show these stories publicly, and that we, you know, have eyes on a situation like this more than just the normal news media. I am not earning anything off of this broadcast, nor is Chris, nor is anyone else. We're not trying to do this for profit or anything like that. We're just doing this broadcast so that people can see what is actually going on. So
yeah, I just stumbled across a third kind of, I guess again, we'll call them anti-riot police. They've got some plywood. Looks like homemade shields. Interestingly enough, in the Greek style, they're round with a little dome on the front for the hand. So very, very, very traditional shield. Kind of interesting to see that.
So have you seen any evidence of PHA response? Any evidence of PHA police? Anything like that?
No, I don't. I haven't yet seen anybody that looks like a city official. Now, you know, who's to say that there's not people out here in plain clothes, anything like that, but nothing overt. Nobody in any type of uniform or in any type of official capacity, it seems like. Okay, I have the walk signal here. I can cross. Yeah, it doesn't appear that the city has anybody out here on the scene as of yet. On the again, kind of on the northwest side, there's some more fortifications. Some are made with like shipping pallets. Some are bike rack that seems like it's been sourced from elsewhere in the parkway.
Now, these fortifications you're talking about, they're things that the residents and protesters have brought together?
Yeah, it's like I said, there's nobody standing here right there, so I'll just kind of whoop. Okay. So you see there's pallets that are kind of leaned up against each other with some rope between them just to kind of impede anybody from coming in that way. There's people kind of manning that. There's another group of anti-riot police here with their improvised shields. Over here at the playground, they have kind of a nice natural barrier at the playground with the baseball court. I'm going to go around the backside of the encampment and see if there's anything over there worth talking about. Yeah, there's even more fortifications over there. So it seems like they're focusing the personnel on kind of the south, I guess it would be the southeast corner, and are using the baseball diamond, the fences that are there, as kind of a natural barrier. There's definitely a lot of strategy and a lot of tactics being employed here.
So from Nadera's coverage earlier this morning, she was live on Facebook. Nadera is a person who lives near the other encampment, and she's been covering it on Facebook Live as well as several other places. And from her coverage, it looks like the PHA is actually putting up new fencing around some of the area that is the PHA parking lot, the future PHA parking lot up there. So that's what's going on, at least at the other encampment. I don't
Where's that,
know.
the Ridge Ave?
Sorry?
That's the one at Ridge Ave, right? You're talking about?
Yes. And so we haven't seen, you haven't seen anything similar here, right? Where PHA or any sort
No,
of
there
city-
doesn't appear to be. It doesn't appear, like I said, it doesn't appear to be anybody out here from the PHA as of yet. Certainly no fences have been erected by the PHA at the moment.
So yeah, seems like they're just kind of slow rolling it. They don't want the attention at the moment, and it's kind of predictable that they would announce a specific time and then try and wait for attention to wane before doing anything with that specific request.
Yeah, that does seem to be what the strategy is. I mean, I'm out here. I ain't got nothing to do all day, so I'll be here all day. I might have to hop off and charge my phone, that type of thing, but.
All right, yeah, we'll keep your coverage live as long as we can, and if you have to charge your phone or whatever, you know, feel free to let me know, and we'll hop you off, and I'll try and pick it up as far as studio coverage as best as I can. I'm trying to see if I can find any other coverage at the same time as well.
There definitely appears to be a news helicopter circling above.
Yeah, the news helicopter doesn't seem to be online.
Copy.
We're the only live Philadelphia thing showing up in Periscope, so.
Yeah, well, I just did kind of a full lap of the encampment. There's, like I said, there's a few more kind of small squadrons of anti-riot police sort of dispersed around. I'm guessing the theory there is that you have immediate response at any given location, and then you can rally to that point with the other crews. Barricades kind of all around. There's a perimeter of people who are pretty clearly not, you know, they don't live at the encampment. They're there to support and protect it. So that's all good stuff. Seems like there are some other citizen journalists out here, though. I don't know where they're broadcasting, but I have seen a couple other people walking around with either phones or cameras out that didn't appear to be, I guess, quote unquote, credentialed members of the press, whatever the fuck that means.
Just want to, I'm going to show on Google Maps kind of the area where we're talking about in a moment. Just getting it set up. So if you could tell us the streets that you're on.
Yeah, so it's, I'm actually approaching a cross street right now, so I can get to the exact. It's Parkway and 22nd, I believe.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin Parkway and the 22nd. That seems to be where, like, the focal point is. They, you know, the improvised kitchen is set up there. Most of the formal news media or the mainstream media or whatever is set up on the opposite corner as the encampment at that intersection. So that seems to be, sorry, there's more people around here, so I'm gonna mask up. That seems to be where the focal point of a lot of the attention is at the moment, is right here at 22nd and the Parkway. The opposite corner is a little bit vacant, but they have the natural barrier of the baseball diamond. It's like tall chain link fences, so it seems like they're trying to use that as a buffer, which makes sense. A good strategy.
About what you're seeing as far as the conditions of the encampment, I'd really appreciate it.
I mean, to be honest, looking around at it, it's cleaner than a lot of the other areas on the parkway around it. Like, you know, as I'm walking around here, there's trash and stuff on the ground and the grass and stuff like that. But within the encampment, it's actually pretty clean. There's not garbage on the ground. It doesn't seem like it's derelict conditions. There does actually happen to be some porta potties out here, so that's good. There's a place for, you know, a safe and clean place for the people who live here to relieve themselves and all that. You know, there's an impromptu kitchen set up. It looks like they're cooking meals right now. You know, there's nothing hazardous about this. And like you were saying, you know, I'm over here kind of on the walking up the parkway at the moment, and I can see clearly like the baseball and kickball or whatever you want to call them fields. There's nothing about this encampment that's impeding them at all. They are set up clear, far and away from them. You know, you could easily, if there weren't a pandemic and you wanted to have a little league game here, you could do so, and it would not be obstructed whatsoever. You know, the tents are all set up in a way that's safe. They're all staked down. It doesn't seem like, you know, if a storm rolled through that you'd have a bunch of tents and stuff like that blowing around. So it's not really a risk of like spreading debris. Like I said, no trash. It's, you know, it looks like a campsite. That's like, you know, it's exactly what it is, and a well-maintained one at that. I'm sorry if any of that's difficult to hear with the mask. Let me know. I can take it off. I'm not around anybody at the moment.
No, you're completely audible. I'm not probably too audible to our audience right at the moment. I'm turning up and down my my audio source. Hopefully we'll get some further coverage of the other encampment a little bit later this morning, as Nadera has time as well.
Yeah, my battery is currently at about 50%. So I'm going to stay on for a little while longer, but when I get down to about 40, I think I'm going to jump in my car real quick and charge up some. That way we don't end up in a situation if PHA or the police do show up where I don't have anything left in the phone to actually record them?
So I just received the news on from a source that is close to the organizing. A meeting has been scheduled between organizers and the mayor for this morning, and that the moratorium on the encampment is still in place, but that there has been an emergency meeting scheduled between the mayor's office and the encampment organizers.
Do we don't have any idea what the time frame on that meeting is, do we?
Let me ask. And I'm also asking where, so that possibly we might be able to cover the meeting directly. I'm also being told that there is live news helicopter footage, and I'm going to see if I can find that.
Yeah, right now all of the major local news stations have ground camera crews out. I can't make out which helicopters are circling though. There's a few of them.
What do you call it? I guess reverse relief, she called it. Isn't that pretty?
Just gonna bring up Fox's live streaming camera. Oh, that's my. Let me bring that up for folks. Yeah, Fox has their Parkway camera. Their live streaming Parkway camera is live right now. Can't really see the encampment. It is in this shot. It would be at the lower right, or on the right hand side, but as you can see, the trees and foliage do cover it from above. So folks have picked a very good area to live in.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to monitor. Just have a single police cruiser rolling by. I think that's just a regular patrol. I don't think that's anything, but yeah, it might be good to just monitor that in case there's a large group of police vehicles or something like that running down the Parkway. I'm kind of trying to keep my eyes open down the Parkway myself at the moment.
Do you know the other encampment address-ish?
I do not off the top of my head. I know it's on Ridge Avenue.
It's right across from the PHA offices, is my understanding.
Did you want me to see about going over there?
Yeah, let's hold off for now, but let me see if I can find the PHA offices on Ridge.
Yeah, if
Here
there's
we go.
more action at the Bridge Avenue one, let me know. I'm not far from there. I can make my way over there pretty quickly.
Yeah, let me see if I can get if I can get it on. If I can get a guest on from over there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just noticing this now too. They have like clotheslines and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's so they can wash their clothes, dry them out, and stuff like that. So like they're just trying to live their lives out here, and
Well, yeah,
that it's
that's
not.
kind of the usual. Folks trying to live their lives. So I'm gonna bring up on screen some Fox helicopter coverage of from their Facebook stream. This is helicopter coverage of the same area you're in.
Hey James, I'm at about 45% right now, so I'm gonna hop in my car real quick and charge my phone up a little bit more, since we're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for I'm assuming no action is gonna be taken until after the meeting takes place. So I'm just gonna jump in my car real quick, charge up. I can stay on the Zoom call. I'm just gonna turn the camera off so the battery can charge more fully.
Okay, great. So I will go back to coverage from the studio here, such as it is. Sorry, I'm managing all of this myself. I don't have a huge crew making calls behind me and producers that can help. If any of you watching this wants to be citizen journalists, wants to be guests, wants to commentate on the events that you're seeing, feel free to get in touch via message, direct message, Facebook, what have you. I will be happy to bring you on live, and you can talk about your witnessing of this, and we will take you out live so that you can express what you're seeing. I have the Facebook coverage from Fox. Coming up now. There is, as you can imagine, all sorts of commentary going on. I'm not going to justify the uninformed commentary of folks on Facebook Live with Fox. Yeah, so this is what Chris was describing and what you can see from above. As you can see, the encampment tents are not on the baseball and t-ball diamonds. They are around the outside. There is actually a fence that fences off the baseball diamonds. There's a few small gatherings around the field. Either residents or protesters. I'm gonna reach out to one of the organizers and see if I could get them to come on and talk briefly.
Yeah, what the news chopper showing right there is the anti-riot police I was talking about with their improvised riot shields. So there's probably about a half dozen small groups like that spread throughout the perimeter of the encampment.
So, yeah, the news helicopter seems to be looking at some of the organizing going on. So while we wait and look at this coverage, I just wanted to bring up some things that have come up online in the last few days. Actually, really, mostly in the last 24 hours, the online rhetoric with regards to the encampment, the online coverage of everything has really stepped up. Firstly, I'd like to highlight a letter that Kendra Brooks and Jamie Gauthier of Philadelphia City Council have written. And let me bring that up on screen for everybody. Probably won't be able to read it too well because it's posted on Twitter, but I will bring it up and hopefully everybody can go to the actual Twitter page and just bring that up for everybody as an inset here. So the letter reads, Dear Mayor Kenney, before the COVID-19 pandemic, Philadelphia's affordable housing crisis was already at a breaking point. Over 200,000 people were struggling to pay their rents, mortgages, and other housing costs. Nearly 600,000 people were experiencing homelessness, including 1,500 people under the age of 18. That's a rough number in case you didn't understand. Working class and poor communities of color have suffered the most from housing instability and homelessness resulting from generations of racial and economic segregation. As the COVID-19 pandemic, another crisis that simultaneously disproportionately impacted these communities, progresses, it is clear that the time to address the housing crisis is now. Creating permanent housing solutions on a short timeline is not simple, but it is our collective responsibility. We commend the city on the number of honorable, good faith commitments that they have made toward addressing the housing crisis, including the establishment of a community land trust, a tiny house village for low-income housing, and new affordable housing developments. While we are eager to support these innovative approaches to housing insecurity, we worry that clearing the city's 2 protest encampments after so much work has already been done will undoubtedly make those commitments more difficult to realize. The encampments currently under threat of being closed, Camp Teddy and James Talib Dean Camp, were established in response to the havoc that the housing crisis was wreaking on our most vulnerable community members. They came about because decades of racist policies like redlining have devalued black neighborhoods, creating a stark racial wealth gap and leaving thousands of Philadelphians with few viable housing options. Dispersing these residents with just a day's notice is not a solution. It will only make securing housing for those who need it more challenging and damage the relationships that have been built with activists and advocates over just the past few months. To preserve the many strides made between the city and encampment residents, it is critical that we prioritize securing permanent housing for the residents of the encampments. We are also particularly concerned about the families who are currently living in formerly vacant PHA units and their ability to remain in those homes. It would be a terrible mistake to further traumatize a group of people who have rallied around a simple belief that everyone deserves access to affordable quality housing simply because the lines of communication have broken down. We are writing to request...
Hey James, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you can hear that.
A bit.
There's a group of people right now kind of marching around the outside. I think they're saying give us housing, do it now, or something along those lines essentially. But yeah, the camp's getting a little, well, that's not really the camp. That's people out here in support of the camp, but they're getting a little bit more active. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you that update real quick as they were going by. So I wasn't sure if it was a little bit more, there's something else a little bit bigger going on, but I heard some commotion, so I wanted to chime in with that. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries. So to continue, and the news helicopter is focusing on what looks like some detritus collected at one particular person's tent. Way to go, Fox, in making it look as bad as possible. At any rate, so the letter continues, we are writing to request the city of Philadelphia cease its plans to clear the 2 encampments tomorrow morning and return the negotiating table as soon as possible in hopes of coming to an amicable resolution. Both of our offices have been in regular communication with the organizers of the encampments for this reason, and we would like to request that we be present in the next meeting between city officials and Philadelphia Housing Action to aid in further negotiations. Addressing the housing crisis will take collaboration and partnership on the part of all elected officials, federal agencies, community members, and organizers, and we have no time to waste. This letter was signed by Councilmember Kendra Brooks, who is an at-large member of City Council, and Councilmember Jimmy Gauthier, who represents the 3rd District. So yeah, that is a rather encouraging part of the news over the last 24 hours, that there are folks that are worried and concerned and actually trying to get something done in City Council, and trying to act as mediators and level heads in this area.
Yeah, and if I could just add on to that, if this wasn't already completely obvious to anybody who's watching this, you know, the majority of the residents of the encampment are people of color, and you know, the only purpose that disbanding this encampment really would serve would be to make the problem less visible and to make the individual people easier to harass. If they're spread out throughout the entire city, in different neighborhoods, stuff like that, it's a lot easier for cops to come along and harass and shoo people away. When you have a large group of people here collectively, you know, occupying a space, it's a lot more difficult to achieve that. So really, there's no good justification for why this would need to be disbanded. This is clearly not a danger to anybody in the community. It's not any significant public health risks. Like I said, it's, you know, Fox News might have focused on like one area where there was like some trash or whatever. That's not indicative of the overall condition of the camp. Like I said, there's more litter in the areas around the encampment that are, you know, than there is within the encampment themselves. Like the people that are living here are they're maintaining their community in pretty decent conditions overall, especially given the resources that they have access to. So
Fox is currently showing the organized march going around the encampment. I don't know if you can see that. But what you were talking about a few moments ago, the helicopter is currently focusing on.
Yeah, that's on the opposite side of the park from where I'm at currently.
I'm going to text you about the meeting. One of the organizers at Arch Street texted me and let me know where the meeting is going to take place. I don't want to broadcast that meeting location just because he said in the text to me that he's a little concerned about overloading the meeting. He would like the meeting to go well, but if we can go to that meeting and cover it from a news perspective, that might be worthwhile.
Yeah, sure. Shoot me over the address and I'll head right over.
I just did via Facebook. But charge up your phone. You don't have to head there right now. It's an 11 a.m.
Yeah, I'm reading your message now. Yeah, I'm gonna sit tight, charge my phone up so that I have, you know, a nice full battery to go over there for that. Is there any way you could put me in touch with that person so I can meet up with them potentially a little bit beforehand and discuss in private with that individual what they do and don't want covered from the meeting, like whether or not they, you know, want video coverage or audio coverage or both or neither,
I'll talk to you about that in a second, but I have to answer this call. Could you go ahead and commentate for a minute?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Fox News appears to still be covering the small march that's going around the outside via the helicopter footage that you're seeing. Yeah, generally right now it just seems like people are just preparing for a fight. This is definitely the Philadelphia Police Department, PHA. They're not going to come in here and just have their way. People are preparing to resist this, and it's gonna be a pretty strong resistance. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Hopefully, the meeting that James mentioned earlier in the broadcast, or just mentioned briefly a moment ago, hopefully things go well at that, and there can be some kind of amicable resolution, like you said. And we don't
Amicable?
have to. Amicable? Is that the right word?
No, amicable.
Amicable. Sorry.
No worries.
Sometimes,
Yeah. So yeah, that call didn't go through for some reason. I did directly message the organizer that I was talking to, but for news purposes, I would like, you can go and I'm not gonna put you guys directly in touch, just so you can maintain. Um, the for news purposes, I would say we should cover it. However, we can cover it in once we're there. Just go to the meeting and see if you can get in as a member of the media, and b if you can only do audio, then do audio. If you can do audio and video, then do audio and video. It'll be pretty obvious what we're allowed to do because other folks will be doing it.
right. I mean, if it's taking place in a public space, technically, we have the right to record. There's no expectation of privacy in a public space, so we have every right to. But I'm just trying to be respectful of the organizers and what their wishes are.
Yeah, I would just say that it's in this particular case, it's important to provide unbiased, on in the moment coverage because of what I'm about to talk about, which is Mayor Kenny's response publicly to these notifications, and what Mayor Kenny has said on the record with regard to the housing encampments. I'm going to bring up on screen a WHYY article that actually has been updated since last night, but I wanted to go to the segment by Mayor Kenny.
Yeah, just real quick for anybody that's watching the Fox News coverage, what they're seeing right now, that's the sort of phalanx at the main sort of front of the camp, and across the street from that is where all the news media is. But yeah, there's your anti-riot police with their improvised shields. So.
Yes. Looks as though there are a few camera folks filming them, which should be acceptable since they're not residents; they are protesters. Kenny said on Monday, however, that after weeks of negotiations, he had concluded that further discussions would do no good. He said the encampment leaders' demands keep shifting and that some of the demands are out of the city's control or unachievable in the time frame being sought. The mayor said the last resort decision was made with a heavy heart and in recognition of growing health and safety concerns at the site. So I'm an independent news organization, and I feel very strongly that providing editorial and contextual information is part of our duty as journalists. Um, Contrary to Mayor Kenny's statement, the uh, the demands of encampment leaders have not shifted once in over 5 months. The demands have always been to create an environment where housing the folks that are in the encampment is both possible and immediate. There is in no way a reason to dismantle the encampment before those demands are met. There's no reason that folks would want to leave what has become a viable living space for them without having a different viable living space to go to. It makes no sense, and I don't understand exactly why Mayor Kenny is, in essence, just straight up lying. There are plenty of examples, illustrations of the health and safety measures of the encampment, the cleanliness of the encampment. As with any living space, shared living space, you're going to have some folks who don't keep their own encampment space clean. But there's COVID testing, there's medical access, there are people literally keeping the encampment clean, and there is a post of demands at the entrance at one of the entrances to the encampment. That post of demands has not changed. I've brought it up on screen. It hasn't changed, and it is all within the control of the Philadelphia city government. There's no reason why Mayor Kenny cannot address any of these concerns, and there's no reason for him to lie and say that he can't. So yeah, if we can get into that meeting and get you live coverage of that meeting, I'll be happy to bring the real story directly to the forefront. Hopefully we can provide that coverage in such a way as to not affect the goings on, but hopefully folks will be able to as members of the media, listen in to the meeting and provide an accurate picture of what is happening during the meeting.
This may or may not, this might sound a bit insensitive to say, but I do think it's worth mentioning that the residents of the encampment that I've seen here, their clothes are clean. They seem like they're clean. They're living generally pretty well for living outdoors, and I think a lot of that is attributable to the collectivist nature of this. When you bring everybody together like this, it's a lot easier to provide them aid and resources and materials to do things like bathe and clean your clothes and things like that. So if Mayor Kenny wants to make an argument about the health and safety and well-being of the people in the encampment, he's going to really need to address that point, because when I walk around the city and I see people who are homeless, who aren't part of an encampment, generally they're not living as well as the people are here. They don't have access to regular meals. They don't have access to stable shelter. They don't have access to ways to clean themselves or their clothes. And so, that even if you're a heartless bastard and you don't care about these people that are living here, If you want to talk about public health and safety here, and you want to talk about controlling the spread of disease, having people spread out throughout the city who aren't able to maintain basic levels of hygiene because they don't have access to those resources any longer, that creates a larger public health risk to not just the people in the encampment, but the population of the city at large. So I don't know. It's just everything about Mayor Kinney's statement on that seems contradictory to reality. Like, it doesn't seem based in any type of truth. It seems like a statement that was constructed to sort of shift the focus of the narrative and make this sound like it's a danger to the people here and a danger to the community at large, when it's demonstrably not. It just flat out is not.
And I would just like to also say that folks can go and read the CDC guidance on unsheltered homelessness and coronavirus disease for homeless service providers and local officials. It's right on the internet. It is the best possible advice that we have for the current environment, with a pandemic going on, with no cure or vaccination or effective treatment available. The CDC advises that encampments like this should be left where they are. They are a far healthier option than folks being kicked out of such a situation. Considerations for encampments reads, if an individual housing options are not available, allow people who are living unsheltered or in encampments to remain where they are. Clearing encampments can cause people to disperse throughout the community and break connections with service providers. This increases the potential for infectious disease spread. So I would just like to highlight that yet again.
So basically, everything I said in my unprofessional opinion is substantiated by the CDC because it's fucking common sense.
Well, not only common sense, but these are scientists who literally studied the problem from historical and anthropological perspective and decided that encampments are safe and safer than clearing encampments. Encourage those staying in encampments to set up their tents, sleeping quarters with at least 12 feet by 12 feet of space per individual. If an encampment is not able to provide sufficient space for each person, allow people to remain where they are, but help decompress the encampment by linking those at increased risk for severe illness to individual rooms or safe shelter. Work together with community coalition members to improve sanitation in encampments. So, yeah, feel free to send by the sanitation department, but don't send by the sanitation department to clear the encampment's tents. Send by the sanitation department to help gather any trash or refuse. Ensure nearby restroom facilities have functional water taps, are stocked with hand hygiene materials, soap and drying materials, and bath tissue, and remain open to people experiencing homelessness 24 hours per day. If toilets or hand washing facilities are not available nearby, assist with providing access to portable latrines with hand washing facilities for encampments of more than 10 people. These facilities should be equipped with hand sanitizer containing at least 60% alcohol. So the CDC, the best minds, scientific minds we have on what should be done in this situation are saying that yes, the encampment should exist. No, it's not unsanitary. And yes, we should allow the encampment to remain. Yeah, so I wanted to bring that point up because it hasn't been brought up again. In most media, we are hearing that the residents of the area, and particularly this area, are displeased that this encampment exists. Um, and we're hearing that they would like it moved and that folks shouldn't be there and whatever. I don't think that those voices are valuable. They want what they want because their homes are there, but they don't. They're not thinking of what is best for the city or what is best for the other people living with them.
Well, I'd also like to add that this is not in an actual residential area. There is, there's a large like apartment complex sort of on the north side of the area where the encampment's set up, but the encampment is mostly on the south side because the north side is where all the sports fields that we were talking about earlier at, and those areas are vacant. They were left vacant. So really, this is not an actual nuisance to anybody. It's not like there's people set up, in somebody's front yard. It's not like you walk out your door and there's a giant encampment of people. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing. It's in a public space, and it's not interfering in the public space either. Like the sidewalks are clear. You can walk down. There's nobody stopping anybody from walking by. I was politely requested not to film the encampment, which I think is a totally reasonable request, but it wasn't through threat of violence or force. I'm sure if I said, no, I'm allowed to record here, it wasn't like anybody was going to attack me over that. This is not, the people who are upset about this are probably the type of people who are looking at this and going, oh, my property value is going down. Which it's not, but I'm sure that's the frame of mind they are most likely of.
And to be honest, if people are looking at this and they're concerned about their property values, imagine, if you will, a time in the not too distant future where all of this has been taken care of. Imagine, if you will, that we come out of the other side of this protest and the city sets up affordable housing, sets up long-term housing for the folks that are in this encampment. This isn't a huge encampment, by the way. There's maybe a couple of hundred people experiencing complete housing distress. A couple of
I would say looking at it right now, I would say that there are less than 150 tents out here. Now, I'm sure that there are some that house maybe more than one person, but yeah, it's not. We're not talking thousands of people.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you have the other encampment. So between the two, you may be talking about less than 300 people. Your average hotel holds 1,000 people. So, we're not talking about some sort of problem that can't be resolved quickly. So imagine, if you will, a time in the not too distant future where this is resolved, where folks don't have to be in tents in 100-degree heat, not, during a pandemic, and your property values would increase because you don't have a visible homelessness problem in the city of Philadelphia any longer. So imagine that, if you will.
And if it wasn't, entirely obvious, one of the one of the major sort of hurdles that people who are experiencing homeless need to overcome if they want to get out of it is finding a job. And when you don't have somewhere to bathe or wash your clothes or even an address, you know, that you can, because when you fill out a job application, you have to provide an address. These are all practical barriers that prevent people from, you know, the typical Republican meme of pick yourself up by your bootstraps, which, you know, for anybody who it wasn't already aware of this, the joke there is that it's an impossible task to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. That was co-opted. But at any rate, the point being is, you know, these people are here in a relatively stable situation. And if we could move them to a more stable situation, hey, a number of them could most likely become, you know, what you would deem quote unquote productive members of society, people who hold jobs, people who pay taxes, you know, and not that I think that anybody's right to exist should be tied to their value to society, quote unquote, but you then take these people who, you know, again, we're going to talk about this from the perspective of the people who are antagonistic towards teen gaming. You know, if they're viewing this as some type of drain or some type of bad effect in their neighborhood or in their community, addressing this problem in the way that they're asking creates the potential where they could become valuable assets to the community instead of how they're being viewed as a nuisance or something like that. And I know it's also kind of a meme to like go, oh, but Europe did it this way and look how well it did there. But like, you know, it's worth pointing out that countries like Denmark, they virtually ended homelessness, and the first step was giving the people who were, you know, experiencing homelessness a stable place to live. And when they had a stable place to live, many of them wanted to, you know, improve their life further from there, and now they had the means to. And it ends up costing less money to just give these people somewhere to live safely than it does to let this problem continue to persist. It's really antithetical to the idea that this is hurting the community in some way, to just decide we're going to disperse everybody now and that's the solution to the problem, because it's not a solution. It's hiding the problem. It's sweeping it under the rug.
Definitely. So, for transparency's sake, other than providing this coverage, we will be going to the meeting. You might want to head towards that meeting at quarter of. But we will be...
I was just about to drive over there and find somewhere to park my vehicle in the area around there. So I won't be able to give any on-the-ground coverage here at the encampment, but I'll be over at the meeting shortly.
Looks like Samantha Rise is speaking at the encampment right now. If you want to just give some coverage of that real quick, live video coverage with audio.
If I can get to it reasonably, I just pulled out of my parking spot.
Oh.
So if I can get somewhere and put my vehicle somewhere safely, where is that happening? Is that happening near the front of the?
That's at the 22nd and Parkway corner.
Okay, I'll see if I can make my way around there real quick.
So speaking live now at the encampment, it looks to be Samantha Rise Robinson. If I can recognize her from this small of a shot, recognize them from this small of a shot, apologies for the incorrect pronouns. Samantha is a housing advocacy and people of color advocacy activist who has a very good voice and is able to speak to things very well. I'm also inviting on, again, Nadera Hood, and I have messages out to Councilmember Gautier and
Yeah, unfortunately, James, I don't think there's going to be somewhere I can reasonably park my vehicle that's close enough by. So I'm just going to start making my way over to the where the meeting's at.
Yeah, if you can find parking, that spot, the spot where the meeting's at isn't too far away. If you can find parking and make your way back to the protest in front of the encampment, that would be great too.
I mean, if your priority right now is trying to get the speaker at the front of the encampment, I can try and take a lap around it and park back where I was.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Sorry to drive you all over the place. It's
No, I'm out here to do it. It's fine.
we need a few more folks who are willing to be citizen journalists. Again, if anybody is willing to be a citizen journalist, all you need is a cell phone capable of with a camera and capable of dialing into a Zoom call. I'd be happy to bring you on live from any sort of anywhere that has impact on this situation. Yeah, as you can see, there's a bit of organizing going on in the front of the encampment.
Okay, I am parking now, pretty much right at 22nd. So I will be able to provide you coverage with that in just a moment.
Great, thank you.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Okay, it appears that my password, well, yeah, that's because I put it out to council member KG.
Basic human rights. So we're just gonna turn this off because we don't need speeches today. The message is clear. It's been written and recorded over and over again. Y'all been knowing. So we're gonna take care of ourselves, and y'all are gonna come up with a solution, and we're gonna go get serious about these demands instead of posting an eviction notice you think is cute in the dark of the night. No more. All power to the people. The people. We are not outnumbered, we are out-organized, and we are naming what we're asking. Period.
Okay, yes, that is Samantha Rise Robinson.
So yeah, as you can see there, that I only caught just the tail end, the sign off of that. I'm gonna go ahead and make my way over to the meeting now.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let me repost the Periscope link on YouTube. So yes, we continue to be live, and also for transparency, I've invited Councilmember Gauthier and Councilmember Councilmember Gilmore Richardson to come and speak on the chat. And since it's relatively public, we did get Zoom bombed for a brief moment, but it's not really difficult for me to deal with Zoom bombings on such a small platform. I don't have like a million guests in this chat, so your account will get reported, and you'll lose the ability to be on Zoom at all if you Zoom bomb me. So have fun with that.
How did they even manage to get into the Zoom? I thought you had like a password and everything.
I do, but I gave the password over Twitter to Councilmember Gilmore Richardson because they don't have Councilmember Richardson doesn't have a direct message function. They've blocked direct messaging on their Twitter. So
okay, that makes sense.
to join this meeting myself from my cell phone so that I can control the cameras. So we're continuing live coverage with the Fox 29 feed, and it looks like there's not too much for them to concentrate on at the moment. So at 11, we will be going to hopefully coverage of the meeting between Mayor Kenny's office and the encampment organizers. In the meantime, I'd just like to talk about some of the other work that's been going on in the city and the state. If folks are having difficulty with housing, experiencing any sort of housing crisis, there, and so that folks don't latch on to that as a thanks, Victor, for acknowledging that you can hear my keyboard. Yeah, it's an unfortunate side effect of me managing this all myself.
Just mute your keyboard, James.
Yeah, mute my keyboard. So yeah, the keywords there are housing crisis. Folks, when I say housing crisis, a lot of people are in housing crisis and don't think of it that way. I don't want you to think of housing crisis as a negative. Housing crisis means that you are feeling the pinch. You're feeling like you might be in trouble. You might have difficulty doing, maintaining your housing and being in your housing next month or next week. Or you might be looking down the road far enough to realize that, hey, without the 600 of FPUC, we might not be able to make our rent next month or 2 months from now or 3 months from now. So all of that is housing crisis, housing emergency, housing anxiety. And so if you're looking at your loss of income because of COVID, because you can't go to work, because you lost work, that makes sense. Um, and the state and federal government know that that's a possibility right now. They know that it's a problem right now. So um, they want you to be able to continue to contribute to the economy. They know that if folks are unhoused, they can become a drag on the economy. They can become non-contributors to the economy. And so all of that being said, nobody wants that. Nobody wants you to be without housing. Nobody wants you to have trouble in maintaining your housing. So, what the city and state and federal government have done up till now is create the CARES Act. The CARES Act provides money as block grants to the state, and the state has some programs like the rental assistance program and the mortgage assistance program, both of which can be accessed by anyone who is experiencing loss of income due to COVID. I'm going to bring up on screen the Save Your Home Philly hotline. Save Your Home Philly hotline, 215-334-HOME. I don't remember what the actual digits are that translates to. However, they also have a website, saveyourhomephilly.org. The folks at that hotline are paralegals. And, there's the digits, sorry. Let me go back to that. 4663. 215-334-4663. The folks at that hotline are paralegals, and they are able to help you navigate various programs that exist and help you be able to get to the help that you need for your mortgage or your rent. What is there to talk about right now? We are going to try and cover this meeting live between the city and the folks that are at the encampment. And it looks as though, at least for now, they are postponing any sort of action. The city is postponing any sort of action at the encampment until those negotiations happen. Don't see a whole lot of coverage, live coverage from Philadelphia right now. There is a SpaceX launch happening. President Trump is being covered live because he's going to Cedar Rapids. New York City is doing live updates about coronavirus. Looks like CBS 3 might be live on. Nope, they were carrying the same helicopter coverage as Fox was, and both those channels have gone to black. I'm I may be boring to watch, and I apologize for the next few minutes of boringness, but I'm going to keep live, and because I can. I'm an independent journalist, and I'm able to do what I want. Don't have any advertisers to answer to. I only have the truth to answer to. So, yeah, I'd like to pull up real quick some earlier coverage from Nadera Hood, and so that you can see that, and that'll just take me a minute. Nadera is a resident near the PHA encampment on Ridge Avenue. You can watch. You can see her videos live, or in replay on Facebook, and I encourage you to, because she's the voice of a resident who has been through the PHA system, has dealt with housing crisis, has dealt with other things like that. So let me bring this up for folks. I'll bring it up on this screen.
Oh, as a matter of fact, look like they're trying to block off the whole joint. Yeah?
Hey.
I want to ask you something. All this your property?
He doesn't answer questions. He's not authorized to speak on behalf of the Philadelphia Housing Authority.
I want to ask something. This your property to block off? Okay, okay. How old is he? You don't know? So they told y'all to block it off. So you don't mind if I take pictures of your workers? Okay, thank you.
Do you know the cost of the project?
This is from earlier this morning.
Because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of units that are very bad condition, a lot of vacant boarded up units, and
near the PHA encampment up near Ridge Avenue, across from the PHA building, and I'd like you to listen to this next part.
they ain't throwing nobody out because this is our neighborhood. We're gonna throw them out. I live at 19 The Diamond. Everything that happens here affects me. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. You guys can't build a line in Cecil B. Moore and say that we don't have a say-so. Y'all hear this? If you live past Cecil B. Moore, you don't have a say-so about what happens in your community where you live and pay taxes. I pay taxes to live in this community. What you're doing here affects me the same as it affects anybody else. And I don't have to live in Sharswood to have an issue with PHA. They're citywide. They chose to put their government headquarters in this neighborhood, so this is where the protests will come. But I don't understand cutting it off at Cecil B. Moore. So if I live right there, I don't count.
You said it was your neighborhood.
It is. I walk home. I walk here. I walk here every day. Like, I live here. The parking there affects my block. I mean, I live here. Like, parking. The parking, the taxes go up because of building stuff like that. That affects me. It all affects me.
Yeah.
I walk here. You can't.
It affects all of us.
You can't make an invisible line to separate people. So that's really tyrannical. They seized all the properties, kicked all the people out the neighborhood, and then they made a line so that nobody outside of that line can speak. Yeah, between Girard and Cecil B. Moore. So you're telling me if I live a block outside of there, I don't have a say-so? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to spend money. It doesn't make sense to keep spending money on this when you could just spend money to deal with the actual issue. Because human beings aren't going to disappear. It's just like, it's wasteful. Your tax dollars at work. If your housing authority, $400 million annual operating budget, 43,000 people on the list. Applications closed since 2013. They have a $400 million annual operating budget. This is what they see fit to spend our tax dollars on. They have no solutions for the people on their waiting list. They have no solutions for anybody, but they have plenty of money to pay people $80 an hour to put up gates and turn neighborhoods into a prison. So, I mean, I'm really just trying to figure out how this is the priority anyway, because this weekend alone, this weekend that passed, there were 2 mass shootings in PHA complexes. So 5 people were shot in PHA's Richard Allen homes, and 3 people were shot in PHA's Wilson Park. This weekend alone, 2 mass shootings in PHA. This is the priority. So there's a special rate that these people are getting paid. If it's like last year when I put the right to know request in, they get paid extra to turn our neighborhood into a prison and then act like they don't know why people are killing each other. Why the fuck do we need gates all around our neighborhood? Why? Why can't they use the federal tax dollars allotted to them to provide housing for vulnerable Philadelphians to do their fucking job? Why, if there's 43,000 people on their waiting list, mothers, children, why is this their priority? Why, if more than half the shootings in North Philly this year have been in PHA complexes while PHA owns its own police force, why is this the priority? 2 mass shootings at PHA this weekend. Somebody shot last night at 11th and Norris, PHA, and this is the priority. This is what they prioritize. This is what they care about. This is what they have press conferences about. Look at this. That's the maintenance man that calls my husband a criminal because he used to be a criminal with my husband. But now because they gave him a job and he can run around and sexually harass women in their homes to get their repairs done, now he has so much to say about the people that he grew up with. It's easy to sell out when they let you be comfortable, but you don't have to sell out to be comfortable, because I live really fucking comfortable myself, and I don't have to sell nobody the fuck out. Just remember that. Look at him, the boss man. Hello, boss. Where's breakfast? Camden's been doing this hard labor without any food. They don't get that large without eating. You should just go back to stealing jewelry, Purple Man. My fight is with you because you disrespected me and my husband last time. Like you're not the same kind of criminal that he is. You shouldn't have got into it. You came at me last time. My fight is with anybody who's supporting this. Y'all union, y'all don't have to do anything that you fundamentally disagree with. So you agree with what's happening. You agree with everything that you're doing. They lucky I got kids now and I ain't trying to be in nobody's jail. Trust me when I tell you.
Because you're going to get me excited and then I'm,
No, but it's ridiculous. This is what they spend their money on. This is federal tax dollars. Federal tax dollars. As much money as they spend to gate us off and send police after us, they could deal with the fucking issue. 43,000 people waiting for housing. 9 people shot in PHA since Saturday. This is the fucking priority. This is the priority. PHA needs to be defunded, decertified, and abolished. PHA is not necessary. PHA was created through the state as a conduit for federal housing tax dollars that will exist with or without PHA. These tax dollars are allotted based on the results of the census. We don't need PHA. We need to have PHA abolished. Any agency can handle the federal tax dollars. There does not need to be a housing authority. So that's it. I'm done. I ain't stopping until the housing authority is abolished. Abolished. That's it. Who the hell are you? Who's this motherfucker with the Texas tag? Where the fuck is the breakfast, man? Shit. These motherfuckers be working hard as shit. Y'all better put some concrete on the fences because they coming down. They coming down. It's not safe. You forcing tenants to live on this block that you abandoned. They might need to run. No, this is around the corner from the encampment. They're gating everything nearby up before they kick that encampment out. You gotta see everybody's face that be doing this work.
Hey, what's up, James? Yeah, no, sorry, the other intersection I sent you doesn't exist. The first street in that intersection is where I parked. I think that's why I cite that. But so yeah, no, we're talking about the same location then. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they're trying to. There's kind of one of two possible scenarios that I've thought of. Is one, they're trying to draw some of the organizational leadership away, so that if they decide during the meeting to take an action, there's less leadership on site. That's the sort of more nefarious type of scenario. I think the other possible scenario is that they probably didn't want to have it at the encampment for fear of it being disrupted by either protesters who are supporting the encampment or possibly people with more less than noble motivations to do something like that. That's kind of my guess. Is obviously that's entirely conjecture, but yeah, it's not terribly far. Yeah, well, and the location of the meeting is also somewhat neutral territory. I mean, I'm obviously not going to disclose where it's at for security reasons, but you know, it's a place where people are generally welcome, no matter who they are. So Yeah, I'm approaching the location of the meeting now. I'm gonna see about getting inside.
Yeah, as I was saying, it doesn't look like Nadera is live. I have to pay attention to both my volume control for Chris and my volume control for the broadcast. Unfortunately, they're two different things. So sometimes I forget to turn my volume back up. Yeah, just looking for other live information, live broadcasts, to see if there are any other things going on aside from this meeting. And I may pause this broadcast and start a new one just so that we can get more eyes on the events as they happen. Chris, just so you know, I will also have to jump into another meeting on my other computer here as that meeting starts. So the broadcast will essentially be yours during that. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Gonna bring in the citywide scanner as well, just so that we can possibly catch any information from that.
In case it's been a while, this is the sound of Alexis RX heading out into the great unknown. If this
Yeah, no. Yeah. Thank you for helping them out. I'm Chris. I'm Robin. Robin? Good to meet you, Robin. Yeah. Right, sure. Well, when the parties arrive, I guess, they'll have to decide. You guys can make a decision. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, wonderful. It's an independent media outlet. It's Right Piece Production. I'm sure you probably haven't heard of it, but it's the Citizens Journal network that my friend and I are mostly the main contributors for. We're just trying to get unbiased eyes. You know, like we're not really out here to paint things one way or the other.
Just wanted to show everybody the notice that went out. I'm sure you're aware of this, but I'll bring this up for folks so folks can see the notice that went out with regard to
K940 the radio.
moving the encampment.
Yes, sir. Can I run another park on attendant, please? 4800 even Torresdale Avenue on the 15th. Pennsylvania tag. Kate, C. Charlie, and Mary, 0177.
So, I'm here at the location of the meeting. I just spoke with the manager of the property, and he informed me that the parties have not arrived yet for the meeting. He didn't grant me entry into the premises at the moment because he doesn't know whether they want it to be a private meeting or not. So he's going to let them make the determination for themselves. But yeah, I will keep you updated as things kind of unfold here.
Okay, and if you could provide video coverage from outside, that would be great too.
Do we want to do that? Are we worried about compromising the security of the meeting by doing that?
No.
Okay. Would you like me to start filming now?
Yeah, you can either start now, or if you see folks arriving for the meeting or what have you. So yeah, as I said, I just wanted to bring up the notification that went out to the encampment.
So there do appear to be two people who just arrived. They came from the direction of City Hall. They're speaking with the manager of the property.
Great.
15H Howie, PSA 1, 65985, 65985.
1040, thank you, I'll be switching over.
Bring that in. I'm just flying your video coverage in there, Chris. So yeah, it looks like some folks representing the city are currently entering the location of the meeting. So yeah, this is the notice that the city sent out late last night. The Philadelphia Housing Authority has not authorized you to use this property to erect a tent or other structure or otherwise camp at this location. Firstly, I'd like to say I'm not exactly certain from where the Philadelphia Housing Authority thinks it derives its authority in this matter. It doesn't really actually have any. The conditions pose a hazard to the life, health, and safety and welfare of the individuals in the tents, which is provably false. The nearby residents and the public at large, also provably false. The CDC, for those who may not have been watching, recommends for the health and safety of residents, the public at large, and individuals experiencing housing crisis that encampments be left in place. It's healthier, it's safer, and it's better to try and provide services to those folks in that situation. You must remove your property and leave this location as soon as possible, but by no later than August 18th, 2020 at 9 a.m. They did let that deadline elapse.
Yeah, James, I would hazard a guess that a lot of the people that are complaining about the encampment are most likely the same people who complain about the parkway being used for concerts and that sort of thing. There seems to be a contingent of people who think that because they pay a lot in property taxes and live adjacent to the parkway, they have some kind of right to decide what should and should not happen in a public space.
Yep. And I would like just to draw everyone's attention to the bottom of the notice here for assistance in seeking shelter or services. Homeless Outreach Hotline at 215-232-1984. The folks in the encampments have already said that that's not really a viable option. The problem with that option is that there is no community trust with that the PHA's services hotline. So I have to jump off for a little bit. Chris, I'm gonna transfer video coverage over to you. I won't be able to hear, but feel free to text me if you need anything in the moment.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do my best to get into this meeting here. It appears like there's maybe two more people that are. They look like they're crossing the street towards the meeting. They've got some materials in their hands, so they seem like they are probably. Yeah, they're definitely here for the meeting. You can see them walking up right now. I'm not sure if you recognize these individuals or not. Okay, copy. Hang on one moment. Hi, I'm with Lightspeed Productions. So I'm with Lightspeed Productions. We're a business journalist network. We're informed about the meeting by somebody organizing the encampment. Just want to know if it was okay if I came in and just listened in. We would like to provide audio and video footage of the meeting, but if that's not okay, that's understandable. Okay. All right. I'm Chris. Yeah. I don't know. Lightspeed Productions. Yeah, Lightspeed Productions. Yeah, it's a citizen journalist network. So, like I said, I'm trying to gain access to the meeting, and right now nobody wants to say yes, it's okay. The manager of the property wants to leave up the meeting. The people who are here, they appear to be representatives of the city. They said they wanted to wait for their colleagues to show up. So I guess we're just kind of in a holding pattern at the moment. I am going to kill my video feed for the moment just to preserve some battery life in case I do get into the meeting. But I'll still be here to provide audio commentary if anything develops, and if anything or anybody shows up, I will jump back on the video feed.
I'm kind of juggling things here at the moment, Chris, so I can't provide video coverage, but I do have the police citywide scanner also broadcasting to this coverage. I would say you're not going to be there for much more than like an hour, so if you could provide video coverage, even if nothing is happening, that would probably be preferable.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that my phone battery is going to last even that long, but I'll provide video coverage for as long as I can. I do think it's also worth mentioning that in my brief conversation with the property manager, he mentioned that the property has been providing services to the encampment, so that is probably or just to people experiencing homelessness in general, not specifically to the encampment. But so that's possibly one of the other motivations for having the meeting here. It's a site that is sympathetic and provides aid to the people that we're fighting for today. Yeah, I got you, Barb. There appear to be a few more representatives from the city's offices that have shown up. I think there's been about 6 so far. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, clear out here, 30th Street Path, yeah, how much security still on location is tied up for you, but quick.
Everything okay, thanks.
Good, how are you, sir? Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. So some people do seem to be welcome to my presence here. A gentleman just came up to me and asked me if I was a citizen journalist and thanked me for being out here. He seems to be somebody that works with the property. There appear to be some people who might be representatives of the encampment. I'm gonna put my phone away for just a moment and see if I can speak with them. Give me a moment.
I know you're fucking deciding that. You're fucking deciding that. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you talking about? I know what are you fucking talking about? Why are you talking to those people? What are you talking about? Those people? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Those people? Every fucking day. Go to JTD. Go to JTD. When's the last time you were at JTD? When's the last time you were at JTD? Go to JTD. Dude, you stay in my north.
So right as I kind of went over to speak with some of these individuals, there seems to be a bit of an argument happening right now. So I'm gonna step back from that for the time being.
So what women coming out here trying to pretend like she doing what? Are you kidding me? You don't understand? They're like doing my people. They're like, what the fuck? Wait.
From 25th District, 3600 Germantown, personal weapons, a group assaulting one. On with mace, no flash, rescues the roof. 25th District, probably when assignment personal weapon, 3600 Germantown, group assaulting one. Armed with mace, rescues the roof, no flash.
Danny 10.
Danny 10.
Yes, sir. Anyway, give me two sets of numbers, one for investigate premise, one for damaged property at 5604 Catherine Street.
Then okay, no problem. I'm investigating premise 18Q Quincy PSA 2 57384 57384. Mr. Property 57385.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So just as a heads up, James, I have probably about a half hour worth of battery left at the moment.
79th District, probably one time at 1616 Walnut Street, cars are in progress. The Icon building. People coming in and out of the bank. That's supposed to be closed. 9th District, 1616 Walnut Street, cars are Santander Bank, the Icon building. Four people going in and out of the bank. Building's supposed to be closed.
So tensions are kind of clearly a little bit high among some of the members of the encampment, the organizers. I'm not going to comment on what I overheard or anything like that because I don't think that that's appropriate. But there definitely seems to be a little bit of discontent over the meeting, and some potential feelings that this isn't necessarily the best thing. So we'll see how everything plays out. Things cool down a little bit, and it seems like people are heading in. I will try and revisit the possibility of going into the meeting to observe and report back on it. I'm sorry? No, sir. No, sir. Oh, men? Yeah, I'm saying I don't. But some men do it, sir. Yeah. Well, you say W. I don't know what that might indicate for women. But I'm sure some men would wear them. That's a waist, man. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I haven't bought pants in a minute. Gentleman was just asking me if men wear Calvin Klein pants. I didn't really have a great answer for him.
On headquarters assignment.
Rosslyn. At the bar in the corner, saw black male, black clothing, went into the second floor window on a ladder.
It seems like things have cooled down for the moment, so I'm gonna turn my camera and mic off for a second and go and speak with some of the people and see if I can get consent to enter the meeting. Give me just a moment. Hey James, is there any way you can get in contact with the? Hold on, this is machinery. Is there any way you get in contact with the individual who told you about the meeting, about getting access? Because the people I'm speaking to out front do not seem. Nobody wants to give consent for me to enter.
Sure. Please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume at this point that the meeting is most likely underway. Sort of due to the conflict, I guess, that was taking place out front of the meeting or the out front of the building. Wasn't really able to ask anybody about coming into the meeting. I'm gonna hang out here. Hopefully, the property manager comes back out, and I can talk to him about potentially requesting entry. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like that's going to be something I'm going to be able to provide. All right, so hang on, there's a gentleman sitting out front. I'm going to see about potentially getting an interview from him. Hold on. So as I went over to speak to the gentleman that was sitting out front, some members from the property came out, and they appear to be trying to render aid to him. It seems like he's here to try and take a shower and take care of himself a little bit. So I backed away. I don't want to intrude on that conversation, obviously. Going to continue to stay out here and try and get access to this meeting, but my battery is running a little bit low, so I've probably got about another 15 minutes of coverage left that I can give here. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, so I'm doing citizen journalist coverage of the encampment and just the general homelessness problem in Philadelphia. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to give an interview about your situation and make some statements. Do you want to be on camera? Okay. All right. So this gentleman, he's here at the United Methodist Church. You're here to get a shower and get some care, stuff like that. And how long have you been coming here for that type of aid? This is your first time coming here? Okay, cool. How did you hear about it?
A friend of mine.
A friend of yours told you about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had any experience out at the? Have you been out to the encampment? Are you living there, or are you living elsewhere?
2100 South Norwood.
Okay.
On the highway.
Okay.
2100 South Norwood.
Laying our head at the fire. When it rains, we go somewhere else to lay our head.
Yeah, try and get somewhere with shelter or something like that, right?
Somewhere.
But most of your time you've been spending it living in Love Park. Yeah. Okay. And how long have you been experiencing homelessness?
For 9 months.
For about 9 months. Was there a specific catalyst that led to that? Like, did you lose a job or something?
Because the city of Philadelphia said that I did not make payments on my house of the taxes, and I got paperwork saying that I've been paying all my taxes for the house.
So you have the receipts and everything?
Yes.
And were you evicted by the city?
Yes.
So you were evicted by the city for non-payment of taxes, but you did pay the taxes and you have documentation of that.
I got all my documentation every year that I pay my taxes every year.
And so rather than let you continue to live in your home while there was arbitration about whether they put you out on the street.
Yes.
So you were a homeowner, you had a job, presumably.
I got my own personal business. I'm an owner of a business.
Are you able to maintain that business despite all this?
I can maintain that business anytime I want, because I can open up that business right now, at this time right now, and I got customers saying, yo, I need this done, and this. And I go straight to do it because I need the money.
Yeah. Is your homelessness preventing you from continuing to operate your business?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because I had to, like, every time, I don't like to go to a house stinking.
Right.
Or sweaty to a person that's gonna pay me $300, $400, $500 to do a job.
Yeah, you want to be presentable for your clients. You want to come in clean and well taken care of and all that.
If I would have had my own crib and they calling me just because I'm in my crib, and I could say, yeah, I'll be there in a half hour.
So basically what I'm getting from your story is that you had a home, you had a business that you operated, you were paying your taxes, and because there was some discrepancy about whether or not you were paying your taxes, despite the fact you have documentation, the city put you out on the street, and by doing that, they not only took away your home, your shelter, your ability to take care of yourself and your personal hygiene, but they also took away your business from you.
Yeah.
So the city's actions against you took you from being a productive, quote unquote, productive member of our community, and put you in a position where you're now struggling to have your basic needs met.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, sir, and thank you for your statement. And I wish you the best of luck. So that gentleman very kindly told me a little bit about himself and what he's been going through. Just to kind of recap, in case it wasn't clear in the audio, he was a business owner and operator with his own home, was a tax-paying citizen, and because of some discrepancy in property taxes, which he claims to have documentation that he's paid, the city essentially put him out on the street, and that has affected his ability to run his business. It affected his ability to take care of himself, maintain hygiene, all of that type of stuff. He's here today because he's heard about this services that this property is offering. giving people a place to bathe and take care of themselves, and all sorts of other things. Yeah, I mean, this really speaks to, this puts a fine point on what we were saying earlier about the encampment, not having that encampment and dispersing that encampment, or maintaining the problem of homelessness instead of trying to alleviate it, is actually causing more issues, and is taking people who would otherwise being tax-paying and contributing, members of the community, and putting them in a situation where they're at risk, and they're potentially, because they're so exposed, are now potentially putting other people at risk as well, through no fault of their own. Let me make that entirely clear. This man didn't choose to be homeless. This isn't there's this narrative that, they're here because of decisions that they made. It seems like a much, much simpler and a much better solution to this problem would have been to have this man continue to be allowed to live at his property while there was whatever arbitration needed to happen over taxes. And, if he wasn't paying his taxes, not that I think that that's in any way a reason to kick somebody out of their home. There are ways to alleviate that aren't make somebody homeless. You could garnish their wages. There are all kinds of things that could be done aside from put somebody out on the street and put them at risk. And, everybody who likes to say, people who are homeless, they're, a blight or a pest in a community or a nuisance or anything like that. The city is helping to create this problem through poor policy when it comes to, in this case, enforcement of property taxes. So, yeah, an interesting story from that individual. I'm very low on battery here, so I'm going to start making my way back to my vehicle and making my way over to back to the main encampment, so that I can charge my phone en route. But it does not appear as though I'm going to be able to get access to the meeting itself. So I'm going to stay live here because I believe James is still occupied with something else. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty heartbreaking story when you hear it told from somebody, directly feeling the worst effects of this situation. Somebody hardworking guy, somebody who has clients lined up. He could go and work tomorrow if he had a safe place to rest his head, where he could get a shower and presumably keep his tools and that sort of thing. This goes back to what I was saying before about, if you just give these people a place to live, a large number of them are going to then become the quote unquote productive members of society that, people are saying that they should be. So, this really kind of puts a point on, like, if we remove some of these hurdles, like something as simple as like having a place to sleep, having a place to bathe, having a place to prepare your own meals, all of that could go a very long way to alleviating something that I think everybody agrees is a problem. I think the only debate here is how to deal with it. And, frankly, we have the resources in the city. There are tons and tons and tons of vacant properties that could be used to assuage this issue. And the city is just not doing that. Now, I can't speak to their motivations as to why, but it's pretty apparent that, there are solutions to this problem that aren't being explored that really should be, I would also encourage anybody watching this that wants to try and help out in any way. Look for places to donate. Look for places that are doing direct outreach to these communities. I don't know any off the top of my head, but whenever James resumes his presence on the stream, I'm sure he will have a number of organizations that he could probably refer you to that are doing good work. may even be able to help you get in touch with people to do direct action yourself and direct outreach. If you don't have the means to contribute financially, there might be other things you could do to provide material aid. So, you know, just be looking for opportunities to help people if you can, if that's something that you feel compelled to do, because it's needed. I think it's also worth mentioning, you know, I don't know, I'm sure that there's probably not a ton of people who are experiencing homelessness who are watching the stream for obvious reasons, but you know, if you see somebody on the street and it looks like they need a shower, or it looks like they haven't been taking care of themselves because they haven't had access to the means to do so, the United Methodist Church on Broad Street at Broad and Arch is offering outreach and services to the homeless community in Philadelphia. It's a place where they can go and get a shower and, you know, other aid, possibly get in touch with you know, other forms of outreach that might be able to help them in other ways as well. But that seems like a good thing. If you see somebody, if you're walking around in the city and you see somebody who looks like they could use a little help, maybe let them know about that the United Methodist Church on Arch Street, because they're doing good work. I kept calling him the property manager because I was trying to protect the security of the meeting, and so it was pretty clear that they weren't just letting anybody in anyway. But I spoke with the pastor, and he's very sympathetic to the people from the encampment and to the homeless community in general. Like I said, it seems like that church is doing good work, and it's a good thing to see. Be nice if the city government could get on board with that. Not for nothing. I'm walking down Arch Street right now, and I actually work at the convention center here pretty frequently, and there's usually homeless people hanging out under here because it's sheltered from the rain and from the sun and the elements in general. There's a bridge over the street, and that space, that sort of safe-ish space, has been displaced by outdoor dining. And this is also a place where people would frequently would busk. You know, and some of those people may or may not be homeless, but generally, if you're out busking on the street, you know, you need that income. You're doing that for a reason, and so they have kind of been all displaced by the outdoor dining section that got set up outside the Reading Terminal Market.
Okay, good morning. 15th or 26th District side.
But yeah, just on my way back to my vehicle, I'll be making my way back to the encampment at the park, Benjamin Franklin Parkway, to give updates on the scene there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into the meeting, but you know, hopefully something good comes from that. But we're gonna go provide coverage from the encampment. So if anything major happens there, you guys will be the first to know. You guys are going to kind of get the steering wheel camera for a moment here while I drive back over and charge my phone up a little bit. I'm sorry for the, I know this isn't necessarily the best video feed, but we're doing what we can with what we got. Copy. Yeah, I don't know how much of what I was just saying you overheard, James, but not able to get in the meeting, heading back to the encampment now.
The advantage when you have don't have media coverage and don't have broadcast coverage goes to the folks that are controlling the meeting. So coming out of this meeting,
well, it allows Kenny to make statements like the goalposts have shifted when they haven't, because there's no coverage from inside the meeting showing that they demonstrably have not. I mean, never mind that the demands have been posted outside of the actual site of the encampment. But sorry to interrupt, but I felt like that was an illustrative point of what you were trying to say there.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. It's really important that we allow media access and gain media access to meetings like the one happening. Unfortunately, we weren't able to gain access to that meeting. I will keep working through my resources to try and gain access to those meetings so that we can have an actual clear idea of what is really truly going on. I think what I'm going to do for now is stop the live broadcast. Clearly, nothing is going to happen at the moment at the actual encampments. Unless, hey Chris, are you making your way to the Ridge Ave or the other one?
Whichever one you want me to head to.
If you wouldn't mind just dropping by the Ridge Ave one, I haven't been able to get any eyes on the ground at Ridge Ave.
Yeah, sure. Do you have a cross street?
Hold on 1 second. Let me pull that up. So I believe the Ridge Avenue site is The one near Gerard? No.
You said it was across from the Philadelphia Housing Authority, right?
Yeah, from their main office, but unfortunately they have on maps they list all of their available housing as Philadelphia Housing Authority.
Oh, that's super helpful.
PJ, let's see.
Do you happen to know whether it's east or west of Broad Street? Because what I could do is just go down Broad.
West of Broad on Ridge Avenue.
Okay, yeah. So I'll go down Broad and turn west on Ridge.
Yeah.
And I should be able to identify it pretty clearly. So.
Ridge and Jefferson, a person watching our YouTube feed just commented.
Copy, thank you. And thank you to whoever gave that tip as well.
Sarita. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes out from that location.
Great. So yeah, I think for the time being, we'll cut the live feed, and we'll start a new live feed with any sort of information that we can gather at the Ridge Avenue site. I need to take a little break from the coverage and take care of some stuff here in the studio. And Chris, that'll give you some opportunity to take a little look around the site and determine what you can cover and get in touch with people and see if you can film anything.
Okay, yeah, just shoot me a message on Facebook when you wanna start the next stream.
Great. Sounds good. And if anything happens, feel free to text message me or message me on Facebook if you need me to go live instantly.
Copy, will do.
All right. So thank you folks for watching so far. Obviously, my computer feed is starting to break up as well. Current news about everything is that an update from inside the meeting is that the meeting is in progress. It seems very peaceful and maybe even productive. Folks are talking and airing grievances without shouting over each other, and that both sides are talking. I do implore anybody who has links to the groups talking to either come on live or get someone in touch with me personally if they're willing to speak about the meeting or provide live coverage of the meeting, or let our reporters have access to the meeting. But for now, we do have productive talks going on. There doesn't seem to be a threat to the housing situation as it is. Both encampments seem to be secure for the time being, and we will come back live in a little bit if we have any further updates. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so that you'll get notifications if we go live. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube, the Facebook. We also have Twitter via Periscope and Twitch and Mob Crush accounts. If you search Light Thief Productions on any of those platforms, you should be able to find our feed. Thank you again, and look forward to talking